Okay, family, it's Rhae, and I'm here with this warning slash insightful message for those who this word pertains to. I'm already going to say test the spirit and ask the Lord to confirm this word if it's for you in this season, this hour. So this is going to be, like I said, a warning message for those who are entering or maybe in the midst of your testing, and maybe insight or confirmation for those who have come out of your testing. So attacks and provocation and people counterfeits returning from your past, the enemy sent them. So the Lord confirmed his word to me through a dream. Well, I had started my testing September, and then the last day was October 30th. So then he gave me this dream on November 12th. This dream was insight. And it was confirmation, letting me know that I had just finished my the test, and I passed the test, and certain situations that happened, and I'm like feeling some type of way about the situation. But the Lord was basically showing me that it was the enemy behind these people or these things. So yes, I'm saying this could be insight for you if you're coming out of it, or if you are about to step into it, or you in the midst of it. Then this would be just insight, letting you know some of the things that may come your way and how to handle them, I guess. The dream that I had on November 12th, I had woke up at exactly 8 in the morning. So the first part of this dream, I was out with this boy who I used to date. We weren't like together, we were just dating. And so in this dream, I was with him and we were out eating somewhere, and he kept offering me a drink. Like, he kept trying to make me drink, and I would tell him no, and it is like he wouldn't letting up. So the more that he would offer it to me, I was just getting more and more annoyed. And then so the final time that I said no, he looks to his right, and to the right of him is the enemy. In my dream, the enemy was a past frenemy of mine. He looks at her, and he's like, he was saying that I'm not giving in, I'm not drinking. The enemy basically gets annoyed that I'm not taking the bait, that I'm not giving in. And in the dream, she said something slick, and then so I said something and responding to her, like calling her out what she's trying to do. It's not gonna work, I'm not gonna drink, and I just chill out. And so she stands up, so I stood up, and then she grabbed my arms and she's like, you don't want to do that, I got more up my sleeve. And that was the end of that scene. And then it went to a new scene. Now this next scene, we were now outside somewhere, and all of a sudden all these police cars come, and they jump out the car and they grab both of us, and all the people, they all had their guns pointed at me. The enemy is standing over there smirking, but the enemy ends up with handcuffs on. And so you know how like when police arrest you, they'll kind of like push you on the car, so you're laying on your stomach with your hands behind your back. And so that's how I was in the dream. And the next thing I know, I feel someone cutting my back open, like next to my spine, cutting my back open, and I felt someone pull something out. And that was it of that scene. And then it went to another scene. Now I'm in a house. It's the same type of scenario. There are all these guns pointed at me, but the people are no longer police officers. They're now people who in the dream felt like family, or it was some type of close relationship with these people. So either family or some people, depending on like where you're from, they'll have like that close-knit family dynamic with like their entire neighborhood. And so it was something like that. So these people appeared as like thugs and stuff like that. And so in the dream, I guess I had something that I was not supposed to have, but whatever it was, or maybe I did something I wasn't sure what the issue was. It wasn't revealed to me what the issue was, but it had to do with the enemy at this point setting me up to where my character is being questioned, my loyalty, my integrity, or something like that is being questioned by these people who trust me, who know me, who are supposed to love me, and I'm supposed to love them, but I have something that I shouldn't have, or have done something that I should not have done in their eyes. But it wasn't the truth. Whatever they thought, whatever they were thinking wasn't the truth. So there was a girl here in the dream who was one of the people who had her guns pointed to me. I'm telling her, I can prove it. And so we're standing there, we look at each other in the eyes, and she puts her gun down, and you can see in her eyes that she believes me. So we started to walk downstairs to whatever it was that I was going to show her that I had the proof. And once we're downstairs, you can hear all this noise upstairs, all this commotion above us upstairs. And she looks at me, she's like, she got away, the enemy. We go back upstairs, and all these people are like running out and hiding under furniture like tables. And so she's like, she got away, so the enemy fled. And so I woke up. So first off, with the counterfeit, the first scene, like I said, he gave me this dream on November 12th. This was once I was out of my testing. In the moment when the things were first beginning to happen, I didn't really know that it was test. It started in September when this person from my past was hitting me back up, trying to link and stuff like that. And I was asking the Lord, should I, am I supposed to? So I normally, every single time this person hits me up, even when we were involved and like we would separate and then like time would pass and then he would hit me back up, even since we were involved, every time this person would hit me up, the Lord would show me either the day before or the morning of, and then they would end up hitting me up. So this time when this person hit me up in September, I didn't get any of those kind of like warning dreams and warnings letting me know beforehand. So that's why I was asking, like, Lord, what am I supposed to do? And I wasn't getting an answer. So I ended up just not going. And of course, the person is being consistent because they want to link. But in reality, this person isn't consistent. And so it took me just thinking about everything that the Lord has shown me about the person, that the Lord has revealed to me about this person. And just also just thinking back to certain things that went on when we were involved. And also certain things that I experienced due to being involved with this person. Starting with that. So like when I was with this person, we used to drink, smoke, have sex. That's literally what it was. I mean, not to we went out, I guess, had a good time, but it wasn't anything beneficial for me. It wasn't something that I should have been in. And honestly, it was something that I sacrificed myself for, my values, my standards. The drinking and the smoking weed, that's something I was already doing on my own. But what this relationship was with this person, it wasn't going anywhere. I always said that I would never be in something like that, to where I'm having sex with someone and we're not together or whatever. Not that we should be having sex anyways unless we're married, but that's just what it was at that point when I was entertaining this person. Already that sacrificing myself, compromising my values, my worth, my standards, because I was lonely. Prior to this relationship, I had been completely single, completely solo, completely secluded and isolated for 3 years. So when it came to this person, it's like I was already, by the time that I knew that the relationship wasn't going to be what I wanted it to be, it's like I was already in too deep with this person. Not to say for me to leave, because I did, but it was like it takes you a while to get unattached. Like it takes you a while to shake back from certain things when you get attached to things or people, whatever. So that's how it was for me. So when we would separate, when we would just ghost and stuff like that, I was fine. I could still go on about my life, carry on, and out the blue, here this person comes again, and it'll be the same thing again. Until I made the decision, like, no, I'm not doing this. So yeah, so that's what the basis of that relationship was. And I was surrounded by so much sin while entertaining this person in this relationship. And so the Lord delivered me from that. So that's what I'm saying, thinking back to everything that was going on when I was with this person, because I wasn't getting the answer when I was inquiring in the midst of this test. I just had to depend on what I learned throughout my journey. I just went off that. So that's the first message. People are coming back from your past, and they are from the enemy. So obviously, like I said in the dream, he was trying to get me to drink. So that's always how it started with us, was drinking or smoking or both. So in the basis of the dream started off like that. He offered me a drink, and I was saying in the dream, I was saying no. He was not letting up until I got agitated. I was like, no, like I said, no. And then he turned to the enemy. In the dream, he turned to the enemy. He's like, he said she's not giving in. The Lord showed me that after basically I passed that test. But this person is working for the enemy or with the enemy. For some, it could really be people intentionally knowingly working with the enemy. But for other people, it could just be the enemy is working through this person to get you out of alignment. So I've come well beyond that point in my life where I was with that person. And honestly, even at that point, like I said, before him, I was single, solo, all that for 3 years. And in that time, I was no longer drinking. I was no longer, I was smoking here and there, but I was intentionally cutting that off, trying to cut that off until I was completely able to just stop smoking weed. But all that time I was not smoking, I was not drinking, and of course I was obviously having sex. And so when this person came around, I was pulled back into all of those things again. And so when these people are presented to you, or in this case, people from your past returning to you. If the Lord is already revealing to you that these people are not for you, like this is not talking about prodigals and someone who the Lord has shown you they've changed, or the Lord has shown you that this is your spouse. I'm talking about just counterfeits or exes from the past. If you find yourself experiencing this as one of your tests, then think about, what did you experience with this person? Did you sacrifice yourself for this person? Did you sacrifice your values for this person? Also, were there things that were delayed, hindered due to you entertaining this person, this relationship, this thing, whatever it is? So for me, first of all, I found myself being drained a lot, being tired a lot, or things that I wanted to do, wanted to pursue, all of a sudden they were being blocked, or they were out like on the back burner. Or, and just of course getting me out of alignment with things that you've been working on just within yourself, healing. So of course, when you entertain a counterfeit situation, this means that this is not a person that the Lord told you to be with. So for me, like I said, I was in isolation, separation, singleness, all that for 3 years by this point, and I was just tired. Like I was just lonely, which I never thought, because I used to like being alone, but it was no longer kind of like peaceful for me. It was kind of, yeah, lonely. That's why I settled for this relationship. But when you go off and you try to do things on your own, there's consequences for your action. Yes, we have free will, but we are not free of the consequences of the choices that we choose to make, especially when it is our own doing, when we are being impatient and instead of waiting on the Lord and what we know that the Lord has shown us. So all that time I already knew who my spouse was, still know who my spouse is. And even when I was with this person, the Lord would still sit here and like show me this person's name in the most random ways, reminding me of this person, like, hey, you know this not him. And so it was like, okay. But now that set me back, all the work that I had done, all the things that I had healed from, I'm now having to go back and heal, take time to heal from this relationship, and forgiving myself for settling and compromising my values, my worth, and all of these things when I knew good and well, literally told myself certain things that I would never even do, I would never even settle for, like that's less than me. Yet I still did it all out of being, lonely. And so yes, that's the first thing. These people coming back, or the enemy may send someone or people back to you who are counterfeits, and they could be people from your past. And the point is to get you obviously out of alignment with the person you have become, or the person that the Lord is helping you to grow into, that he created you to be. So with me, had I linked with this person, the Lord was already showing me through a dream that that's what would have happened. He would offer me a drink, and then from history, I know that other things would have tried to been presented to me. The fact that I didn't even just take this person up on the offer, I didn't even link with the person, I just went ahead and just squashed that whole plan from the enemy. And so in the dream, he looked at the enemy and said, she's not giving in. So the enemy got irritated. So now the next part, where the enemy is like, I have more up my sleeve. You don't want to do that. I have more up my sleeve. One of the next tests that I experienced was attacks and provocation. So I experienced on October 30th, I got into a fight. It started out so innocent. Like I asked a question. It started out through a text message, and I asked a simple question. It escalated to the fight, obviously. But even in the midst of the text message, before it became physical, the Lord was already bringing back to me a video, or a dream rather, that he gave me. And I put the video out. It was talking about attacks and provocation. And in the dream, the enemy, when was the dream? Let me see. In July, here's the dream. So in this dream, I was in this building, and this building had stairs. So I was walking up the steps in this building, and every floor that I would get off on, there was someone there. Like right when I get off on the floor, it was this girl there, and she would say stuff, like she was just saying stuff to me. And so I was ignoring her. I wasn't responding. I wasn't retaliating or anything. I would just get up and leave and go up the stairs and go to the next level. So on level 3, the same thing happens. So I leave, don't say nothing again. I don't say nothing. I don't retaliate. I don't respond. I get off and I go to the stairs again, up to the next level. I go to level 4, same thing. So I go to the stairs, and go up another level. And this time it starts off to where they are, of course, talking, trying to provoke me. But when they see that I'm not responding, then they just start hitting me. They start fighting me, jumping me. So at this point, defending myself, I'm fighting back. And so in this dream, I ran into my locker room, and I kind of like locked myself into the stall, and was praying like to calm myself down and stuff like that, and repenting for fighting these people back. Although I didn't initiate it, although I was doing everything that I could to ignore it and to walk away, I wasn't even responding at all. And I literally did not do anything to the people whatsoever. I literally walked off the stairs, walked into a room, and every single level that I got on, they would just start coming at me, talking, trying to provoke me, so I would leave. And so but as I was doing that, one after another, people were running into the bathroom doing the same. Once I began to talk to them in the dream, and they were telling me what was wrong with them, it all was the same thing. The people provoking us, and then when we weren't giving in, they just like, they weren't getting their way, so then they just did what they wanted to do anyways, which was to fight, which was to cause a fight. Then on top of that, they were then running to the police or the security guards or whoever was on scene, trying to tell on us as if we did something to them, as if we attacked them, when they know that they attacked us. You know, in this dream, people, they were crying because we were feeling like we messed up our blessing, we messed up what was in store for us. And so in the midst of this happening to me in the real life, in the physical, when I was going through that test, the Lord reminded me, took me back to that dream in the midst of it happening right before my eyes. When he gave me this dream, it was basically him confirming this was a test from the enemy. This was the enemy behind that person. So sometimes when people may not intentionally be doing stuff, it may not be their motive to, I'm going to get her out of alignment or I'm going to provoke her. But in certain situations, like I said, the situation was nothing whatsoever worth fighting over. So as we were texting, when he reminded me of that dream, I just stopped responding to the person. So maybe like 45 minutes later, they come in and they're like cussing and yelling and screaming, and I'm just sitting here on my phone texting whoever's texting, and on Pinterest, scrolling through Pinterest or whatever. And I didn't look up at the person. I wasn't responding. I didn't say nothing back, and they left out. And then maybe another 45 minutes went past, and they came back in, starting all the way up again. Like, I still was sitting here, not on my phone, the same thing, on my phone, looking at my phone, texting where I was texting, scrolling through whatever I was scrolling, looking at. And they walk out and they turn right back around, come back in, do it again, walk out, come right back in and do it again. So they came in here 3 or 4 times before it escalated to the fight. So at the point that it escalated to a fight was the person yelled, they start screaming, because I'm like, get out, get out, get out. And all of a sudden, I'm like tuning out the person. As I'm saying get out, I'm like tuning the person out. And so they just start screaming. And then so when they screamed, that like triggered me, and I almost threw my phone at this person, but I caught myself. So then, because I saw that I was getting agitated, I got up to usher the person out and close the door and lock the door behind them. But once I stood up, the person just stomped over here and started swinging. So even when this person is swinging at me, I'm still just standing there, and I am just holding my hands up, blocking the person. Even when they finally do start hitting me, I'm still trying to restrain myself. And then it's like, then eventually I started fighting back. But even in the midst of me fighting, like, I was going in and out of fighting this person, and then I'll calm down or something like that, try to push this person off me or whatever. And so eventually it ends. And so I already have a injury to my back, to my spine or whatever. And so in the dream where I said that I was on my stomach and I felt someone cut my back open and they pulled something out next to my spine, a few days after I had this dream, I began to feel that area in my spine slowly, the pain becoming less and less. So I already had the injury, but once I got into the fight, it agitated the injury. In the dream, when the person cut my back open and pulled whatever it was out of my back, a few days, like the 2 days after I had that dream, I started to feel less and less pain. At this point, as I'm recording, I have no more pain there, even though I knew that wasn't my intention for it to even escalate at all, or me asking a simple question, let alone it getting to a physical altercation. I still was like, okay, so what did I do wrong? What could I have done to avoid that? And so when he gave me this dream, it was kind of him confirming, him showing me like that was a test, that was the enemy, the spirit of the enemy. That's why he reminded me of that dream that he gave me in July. As you were elevating, the enemy's going to throw these attacks and provocations your way to get you out of alignment. That's the purpose of these, to get you out of alignment. And so the Lord already knows what things are going to come our way before we see them. He already knows what decision we're going to make before we even do it, before we even know what choice we're going to choose. So the Lord doesn't test us. The Lord doesn't necessarily the Lord doesn't tempt us. Temptation doesn't come from him, but he will allow us to go through these things, and either we'll pass and we'll see how far we've come. We'll see how much we've grown, or it's going to reveal to you areas that you still need to work on. Oh, so the part where he took the thing out of my back, that was the Lord removing that injury, healing that injury completely. So of course the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. So outside of the attack, the enemy still intended to harm me. So a result of me getting into the altercation ended in the injury that I already had being more agitated and causing me more pain. But the Lord came right around and he healed me. He removed it completely. The Lord is faithful to, he got your back. And he will not allow the plans, the plots, the schemes of the enemy to prevail. The enemy wanted me to be in pain. He wanted me to hurt. He wanted to hurt me. And the Lord healed me instead. Again, so he already knew my heart. He knew my intentions. So he's not going to allow me to suffer, you know what I'm saying, over something that he knows I never intended. And even in the midst, I was still trying to show restraint. And so the result of that altercation was pain in my body, but he came right and he removed that pain completely. And so lastly, the last scene in the dream, I said that I felt a family dynamic with these people who had their guns pointed at me, and it seemed as if I had something that I wasn't supposed to have, like I stole something, or they thought I stole something rather, or I did something against them that altered their perception of me as far as my loyalty to them or respect or something like that. Something where they were questioning my integrity, my character, what they knew, who they knew that I really was. And of course, this was another setup of the enemy. So the enemy hates unity. Whether this is your marriage, whether this is a family, whether it's friend dynamic, whatever, the enemy hates unity. So the point the Lord was showing me that the enemy was trying to interfere, trying to destroy some type of unity by causing people to question your character, your loyalty, your integrity, causing you to appear in a way different than they know that you are. So when I told this person, and they all had their guns at me, pointed at me, and so at this point, all these people are now my enemy. And so the girl, she's looking at me, and I'm like, I can prove it. And she looks at we're looking at each other dead in each other's eyes. And it's almost as if like you see on cartoons or animations where people are like in a trance or something, and then they come out of it. So you're right there in their face, and they don't see you, and they come out of the trance and they're like, oh, I saw that in her. The mask was removed, so she was no longer being blinded by the enemy, and she saw me again for who I was, or who she knew that I was. And so I told her I can prove it. So at me saying I can prove it, I saw the enemy in the dream. I saw the enemy's eyes get big, like got scared. And so as we went downstairs, I was leading her to show her whatever it was that I had the proof of. All of a sudden you hear all this commotion upstairs above us, and she looks at me like she got away. So immediately he reminded me of the scripture, I will cause your enemies to flee from you 7 different ways. All of this may be confirmation for someone, or many of you, one or some or all of these things you may have experienced in your testing season, and this is the Lord allowing you insight, letting you know that you passed the test, or these are things that were coming up against you were from the enemy. They were sent by the enemy, and the Lord saw everything. He got your back. And if you are in the midst of a testing, you may find yourself encountering one, some, or all of these things. So this should just be a heads up. Or if you're about to enter, the same thing, if you're about to enter into your testing season, make sure that you pass the test. Take heed to these words. Of course, take this word in its entirety to the Lord and ask the Lord to confirm these words for you and give you further details and instructions. But the Lord has your back. The Lord has your back, and the Lord will not allow any plan of the enemy to prosper. Even if in the moment it looks like he won, he didn't. The Lord is always going to come through for you. The Lord got your back. He sees everything that you go through. He knows your heart. Okay, you guys be blessed. Take this word to the Lord. Like I said, share this word with anyone who you feel may need to hear this word. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and also hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified of any future uploads when I post if you are new here. And I'll be back soon with another word.